Hey folks, welcome to September Stamp Club. So we have two brand new catalogs, and our projects that we're making for September's club is all about using new stuff. So let me give you a little close-up version here. This is card number 1. We're going to be using the Creativity in Motion stamps. Woo! This was the promotion for September, so I wanted you to try these out in person. So I'll show you how to make this one. And next one, we're going to use our brand new star shakers, which is really cute. I love the shaped shaker idea. And brand new holographic paper. And this one, you're going to learn a really cool technique tip on how to use dies to emboss your paper in the background there. You see those stars? Really cute. You're going to love that. And then lastly, you're going to play with our color of the year, which is Bluebell. There's Bluebell cardstock, Bluebell glitter paper, and some really cute pearls there. All right, let's get to work. So we're going to start with the Creativity in Motion Dragonfly card here. So I do have everything prepped to try to keep this video to a minimum. So I will kind of breeze through some of this stuff and then offer you some tips as we go along with some other things. So this cardstock is Peacock, one of my favorites, and this was just some bulk paper that I had left over from the documented paper kit. You're going to have about a 1/8 inch border all the way around, so you can lay your papers down without glue first, just to get your spacing. And there's your background. So we're adding some gold shimmer trim here too to kind of cover the seam, but a lot of it is going to be covered up by your focal image. So you will have in your kit 2 little pieces of shimmer trim because we're using the cheater's technique for this. So I'm going to have you just take the 2 pieces, and we're kind of doing a patch job. I call it a cheater's technique because so much of that is going to be hidden. You're going to add a small piece at the top and a slightly bigger piece at the bottom. And when you're cutting shimmer trim, leave a little tail of cellophane there so that the next time you use it, it's easy to grab. So always leave a tail of cellophane. You will thank yourself for it later. All right, so no need to use up all your shimmer trim. Just cover the pieces that are going to be exposed. All right, let's put that aside and stamp. So let's come to our dragonfly here. And I did this prep work for you with Fern and Peacock. So we're inking up the dragonfly in Fern first. And then do some good old-fashioned stamp rolling. You're going to roll the edges in Peacock. And that's going on the smaller piece here. And lining up those lines vertically, so that will match up with the vertical lines in the transparency. And then our little message here, a friend like you is rare, in that empty space right in the corner there. Close up your inks so they don't dry out. And then lastly, just to kind of tie in the color, I took some old eggplant and then just swiped the edges just to tie in a little bit of that color. You can do swiping, some flicking. And doing this on the edge of a white piece of paper almost gives you the effect that you have another layer of cardstock underneath there, but you don't, you just inked it up. All right, let's attach that to the peacock base. Little border. Okay, next we're going to assemble our frame. So we're going to glue this transparency film to the frame. All right, and I do have a tip for you for this. Let me turn this over. Glue it down and look at the lines on the transparency. Are they vertical? If you see something crooked, like if you see a black line that's shifted, you got to straighten it out. So when you're using liquid glue, you have a little bit of wiggle time there too, but that looks pretty even to me. So just make sure that those lines are perfectly straight up and down. Let's leave that dry for a second. And the pull tab here, I did this for you as well. And I left it a little bit longer so that you can decide, like I have the little pull tab up towards the top. You can, maybe you want yours more in the middle. And you want to leave about, I'd say 3/8 of a space here from the edge of the peacock, because you need something to grab onto. So leave about 3/8 and decide, yeah, maybe I want that up towards the top a little bit. A little glue on that edge. And then we'll just snip off the excess there. Whoops. All right, so now you have something good to grab onto there. Okay, so let's assemble this with some foam tape next. You're going to put foam tape on 3 sides of your transparency sheet. And what I have found that works really well, of course, I'm a huge fan of the Close to My Heart 3D foam tape. You can use either the regular or the thin for these Creativity in Motion cards. You don't need a lot of height for that to slide. So I just have our regular stuff here. And because this frame, the edges are so thin, now we do have the 1/4 inch, there's the 1/2 inch, and we have the 1/4 inch size in the foam tape package. And you can use the 1/4 inch width to do your frame, but it goes right up to the edge. And you have to be really careful to make it straight. So if you don't want to be that careful about it, take the regular 1/2 inch and then cut it in 3s. So 3 equal spaces, lengths rather. So take your non-stick scissors. I started this before, and you'll have a little bit more play if you cut the regular 1/2 inch foam tape in 3 strips. So I'm a big fan of our 3D foam tape because it comes on a roll. You can cut it to any length, size that you need. All right, so let's get these down. And you have to leave one vertical side open to get your slider piece in there. Snip off a little bit. Okay. So 3 sides and leaving a vertical side open to get your dragonfly piece in there. So depending on how you place, how thin or thick in your placement of the foam tape, you may need to give this a haircut. You may need to shave this down. If it's not sliding in there nicely, if it's catching a little bit too much, you might need to just give this a little haircut. Just shave off a hair at the top or the bottom. And there's your base piece, so let's get that stuck on. I have my opening on the right. Okay, and now we can glue that to our card base. See, I had inky fingers before, so that's going to be my base. Alrighty, you can put this right in the middle. You can raise it up a little. So that's why we put the longer piece of shimmer trim at the bottom. And then you can decide, you want it in the middle, you want it up a little. You have a little bit of play, you know, with it a longer at the bottom. Alrighty, and slip your little dragonfly in the side. And there you go. He moves! This is so unique and original. Very, very cool. Love these creativity and motion stamps. Alright, I had in my stash some old documented matching, that was the name of the kit, documented dots. So it just pulls in the color scheme here. And we're just adding a little cluster of dots here. And there you go. Okay, so that is our creativity in motion card with the dragonfly. So yeah, take your foam tape, cut it in 3 little strips for your borders, and that will be great. All right, next up, let's work on our star card. So I have these pieces cut already, and let me show you the dies. So in the die kit, you're getting your solid star, and that's going to be the background, the base of your shaker. That's this one. And then this one will cut out your outline in that beautiful new holographic paper. And then you're going to have the inside piece that it leaves, so we're going to glue that onto the card. And then you have these pieces here, which will cut out little confettis that you can put in. But we are going to use the brand new Bluebell sequins. These are gorgeous. I just love the shades of like holographic purples and blues in there. That is right up my alley. So how do we get this embossed background? I'm glad you asked. You do need a Cuttlebug or something similar and a silicone mat. So I don't have a Big Shot, but I'm sure they have to have something like this. It's a little thin rubber pad. So on my Cuttlebug here, my configuration is always the base A plate and then my magnetic shim and a B plate. And then you would put your dies on and then your top plate. It's so well loved. And then you crank that through. So all you need to do is remove your magnetic shim so that you have A, B, B. So A and B is going to go down first. The silicone mat. Then you're going to place your paper. And then whatever dies that you want to emboss with. It's so simple. Put your top plate, this is a B, put your top B plate on the top and send it through. And this is effortless. I think everybody who maybe has some hand sensitivity or wrist pain, you'll be amazed at how easy and effortless this is. It almost feels like it's not doing anything. But when you remove your dies, looky there, it's embossed. Woohoo! Love it! Gorgeous. Alrighty, so I'm going to do 2 at the bottom here. I'm excited to go through my stash of dies and see what else can I emboss with. It's so simple. And effortless, really pretty. So that's how you do it. You just need a little silicone pad. Get this out of the way. All right, let's assemble this together. You're going to look at your dies in a totally new way now that you know that you can emboss with them too, right? Okay, let's get to this star. So, some assembly required. Here are the elements that you need. So with the shaker dies, you want the matching window foam acetate. And I think you get 6 in a pack. And the important thing to remember is with any of our acetate pieces, it has a film and you have to peel that off. It's a film on one side, so I take my fingernail and I scratch it. I just scratch on one side and then peel that off. And you will see then your acetate, kind of hard to see, but it's crystal clear. So it'll look cloudy at first because that film is on it. And when you peel that off, it's going to be crystal clear. So these stars, it is like a puzzle piece. You have to kind of turn it. That's the right way. So I'm going to lay this down. Hold this by the top. All right, little liquid glue on your frame. And let's glue that acetate down. Yep, so it's kind of like a little puzzle piece, and then when we're going to put it down onto the base, you also need to turn it so that the points are lining up the correct way. And because this is plastic and the holographic paper is kind of plasticky, you just need to press it and give it an extra minute. I kind of roll that liquid glue off my fingers. Just press. Don't use too much glue because you don't want it seeping into your plastic. Because that's hard to get off. And you might need to just cover it up then if you see a fudge. Take a sequin and glue it on the outside part. Cover it up, hide it. So next, to build up you shake your element, you work from the ground up. So here's your base, and then we're going to build the wall with your foam, put in your shaker elements, and then put the lid on. And that seems to be easiest. So let's see which way that lines up. That was not bad that way, but it might line up better another way. I think that way is perfect. So this may be a little tricky for you. In my first example, I had to shave off some of the foam because I did get it a little crooked. So I will tell you, it is a little bit of a challenge to get this star lined up perfectly straight. Don't stress, don't worry. Hold it by the edges there, line it up. So I'm standing over top. Kind of line it up and then plunk it down. And the message, let the good times roll. This came from our September stamp of the month. Here for the memories. This has a lot of cute scrapbooking stamps in here. Scrapbooking is my love language. Do not disturb. I'm making memories. Really cute. So let the good times roll came from our stamp of the month. So before you peel off this layer, add in your little sequins. I gave you a little baggie in your kit. A little pinch. You don't want too much. You want to see your message in there. I think that's plenty. And if you want to, you can come in with a piercing tool or your scissor tip and kind of push your sequins into the middle. I know some of you don't like it when you start peeling off this layer and then they kind of, like magnets, stick to the edges. So if you want to push them into the middle, you can try that. And then just work this off a little bit at a time. And I'm using my fingers to hold the paper down so these sequins don't jump. All right, and here's our lid. And I'm going to hold it above and make sure that it's lined up in the proper way. I'm just going to give it a turn and see. Actually, that looked a little bit better there. So I'm holding it slightly above and then just drop it down. Commit to the stick. I think that came from Queen & Company. If you like their shaker cards, that's what they say. Commit to the stick. Alrighty, so I have a little bit of foam showing here. I'm not worried about it. Just take your scissor, your non-stick scissors, and just shave that off there. So whatever is kind of sticking out, you can just trim it. And there's your shaker. Not too bad. And then your placement, you've got your inside piece. And then this is an extra star that I had die cut out of the holographic paper too. So let's get the arrangement. I kind of like that. I'll lay this one down first. So just, if you have glue on your fingers, kind of rub it off before you touch that holographic paper, because the glue just really knows how to show up. And if you get a glue smear, cover it up with something. That's what happened on my my sample here. You see these 3 little sequins here? I had a little glue smudge, so I just took a couple sequins out of the packet and glued them on there to cover it up. So there's always a way to kind of fix your fudge. All right, just dotting a little bit of glue. Oops, come back here. You know, artistically, they always say things look better in clusters of 3, so that's why I pulled this little guy out. And there's your shaker card. So you learned how to emboss a background. Use a silicone pad with any die and you can emboss a background. New shaker card, new shaker dies, and bluebell sequins, and holographic paper. So hope you like that one. All right, lastly, guys, is this gorgeous glitter card with our new full card dies. Ooh, wait till you see these. I have all 4. So this is the one that we're going to be using today, called Olive Branches. I love the stitch lines that it has. And there are 4. So here's another one. This one is called Stitched Lattice Background. And I did put that on a bluebell, cut out of white, put it on a bluebell card, and it looks like a really beautiful quilt pattern. And the edges are scalloped. Really, really pretty. Gorgeous. Next are the hearts. The heart background, they have stitch lines all around. Again, gorgeous, absolutely stunning. I've seen some really, really cool ideas with this where people have cut this out of pink, white, red, and then all the little hearts that it punches out, you puzzle piece them back in. So you have some pink ones, some white ones, some red ones. Really, really pretty. Really, really pretty. And then lastly, this is gorgeous too, the floral background. And here's what that looks like. Let me put it on the back of this card. So pretty. And do you know, you can get all 4 of these dies bundled together. So when you get a Hostess half price item, you can get all 4 of these for half price. Woohoo! Okay, so the dies actually cut a full card, a 4 1/4 by 5.5 card. So my card base is bigger than that. I got an oddball size card here. It's 4.5 by 5 3/4. Because I wanted the border to show around it. So cut this out of white. You might need to take a piercing tool and pop out some of the little holes here and there. And we're going to emboss this message, let your dreams blossom, in silver. So before we do some embossing, take your little anti-static powder tool give that a rub. It makes a huge difference when you're embossing. Versamark ink. Right in the middle there. And I've got, I think, the world's biggest container of silver embossing powder. This is going to last me until I die, I think. Shush that across the card. And pardon me for about 2 seconds while I heat this up. Okay, maybe 10 seconds. There you go. And I have another cheater's technique to show you with this card. So, with everybody in Stamp Club making this, I ran out of glitter paper for my sample in that size. I had strips left over. So, it is going to allow me to show you a cheater's technique. So, cleverly, this die has a lot of white in the middle here. So what I'm going to do is a patch job, essentially. I'm going to glue this behind the top half, and I'm going to glue this behind the bottom half, and I'm going to have an ever so slightly gap right in the middle here, because I had these strips left over long this way, but ooh, turn it that way, and we're doing a little patch job. So this is going to work out just fine. All right, so I'm just going to follow some liquid glue around the edges here and then dot it on some of these leaves and flowers. So when you're gluing glitter cardstock, you also need to take an extra minute. Be patient with that while it sticks. That glitter cardstock is so textured. So here's another thing. You want to kind of, like the holographic paper, like use your fingers and stick it, press it. Make sure that it sticks. All right, and the bottom half. So think of that cheater's technique when you don't have enough. Maybe you can do a patch job like this and it'll work. And nobody will be any wiser because this is getting glued down to our card base. Nobody's going to know that you ran out of paper. So I hope you like all of these ideas with our brand new products. This core catalog is jam-packed with wonderful new things. I am so digging all of these new dies, and I can't wait to play next month. I would like to play with the Tim Holtz Distress Oxide inks and make some really cool backgrounds with those. We have liquid pearls and new stickles, glitter glue that are going to be a lot of fun to play with. And tons of new stamps, paper packs. Alrighty, I have just a hair of glitter paper showing on the edge here. I'll give that a little haircut. Pardon me. All right, and let's glue this down to the card base. So just be a little patient when you're gluing things onto glitter cardstock. It takes an extra minute to adhere. And this is a top fold card, so that's going to go this way. And again, you have that really nice 1/8 inch border all the way around. And just to tie it in, you have little bluebill pearls. They're so pretty. Lift off 2 of these. I like using my piercing tool for that so I can pick it up and place it where I want it. Sometimes if you grab it with your fingers, they go flying across the room. There you go. So it just adds a cute little dimension to that. So silver embossing, beautiful full card die on the glitter paper. Alrighty guys, so embossing with your dies and shaker, star, holographic paper, really pretty, and the creativity in motion. Hope you like that, guys. So if you have any questions, just shoot me an email. Thanks for joining me.